The moon cast an eerie glow over the desolate graveyard, its silvery light filtering through the gnarled branches of ancient trees. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, as if the souls of the departed lingered among the tombstones. This was no ordinary graveyard, it held a dark secret. Nestled in the heart of the cemetery stood an old, dilapidated mausoleum, weathered by time and neglect. It was said to be the final resting place of a wicked sorcerer who had been banished from the land centuries ago. Legends whispered that his spirit still haunted the graveyard, seeking revenge on the living. As midnight approached, a group of curious teenagers decided to venture into the graveyard, drawn by the thrill of the unknown. They crept through the rusty iron gates, their hearts pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The gravestones stood like sentinels in the moonlight, bearing witness to the passage of time and countless souls. Unbeknownst to the teenagers, their presence had awakened an ancient evil that slumbered within the mausoleum. The ground beneath their feet trembled as the sorcerer's spirit began to stir. A cold wind whipped through the graveyard, extinguishing their flashlights and enveloping them in darkness. Whispers filled the air, growing louder and more menacing with each passing moment. Shadows danced between the tombstones, taking shape and form. The teens huddled close together, their breaths quickening, as they realized they were not alone. Eyes glowed in the darkness, filled with an insatiable hunger for the living. One by one, the spirits of the graveyard rose from their resting places, their ethereal figures materializing in the moonlight. They shuffled towards the terrified teenagers, their decomposed bodies and tattered burial garments dripping with soil. Moans and wails echoed through the night, chilling their bones. The group scattered, desperately trying to escape the clutches of the undead. But the graveyard seemed to have a life of its own, twisting and turning, trapping them within its labyrinthine paths. The tree seemed to reach out with skeletal branches, ensnaring their limbs, preventing any escape. As the night wore on, the spirits closed in on the remaining teenagers. They clawed at their flesh, their cold touch searing like ice. Panic consumed them, and they realized they were mere playthings in the hands of vengeful entities who had been denied their eternal rest. Finally, as dawn approached, the graveyard released its grip on the terrified souls. The spirits retreated, fading back into the shadows from whence they came. The teenagers stumbled out of the graveyard, battered and traumatized, vowing never to return to that accursed place again. The graveyard resumed its silence, but the memory of that horrifying night lingered in the minds of those who survived. The legends of the wicked sorcerer and the haunted graveyard would be passed down through generations, a cautionary tale to deter the curious and remind them of the perils that lay hidden among the tombstones. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe this channel and press the bell icon for more stories.